Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of Real Geeks for February, where we'll be discussing Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm going to call it right now, for those of you who have watched past episodes, this is going to be another Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, no.
Because I know good and well I'm going to be the vast minority, because, frankly, Sonic is the single most exhausting film I have ever watched.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Jesus.
but like in saying that, though, I do want to clarify, that does not mean that I hated the movie. Like, I hate Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
I hate Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah.
Those movies both, frankly, made me incredibly angry. This, not so much. It's irritating,
Yeah.
but I didn't leave the film ready to strangle anybody.
Well, that's a good thing.
Exactly!
I was anticipating leaving the theater wanting to strangle people, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, now, and as we said at the end of past shows leading up to this review, we were expecting truly awful here. And as much as this film does have problems aplenty, it's not as terrible as we were led to believe from the moment it was first announced.
No, and I think that has to definitely be weighted into account very heavily.
Yes.
This was supposed to be an utter train wreck of unrecoverable swampiness, and it turned out to be decent. Decent.
Yeah.
I was, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I came away with it feeling like it had a Spy Kids feeling for me.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that might have been colored because the pre-game show had questions that actually mentioned Spy Kids, so, you know, that may have colored my impression of it. But, no, I thought this was a great family movie.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I didn't hate it. So, as an adult of children who have now grown up and become adults themselves, I didn't hate it. So, yeah.
To me, it wasn't Spy Kids. I've actually never seen Spy Kids. I love Robert Rodriguez, but I've never gotten around to seeing his children's
You
stuff.
should. It's
really
actually a
should.
cute movie.
I heard it was very fun.
Yeah, my kids liked it growing up.
I'll check it out. But this to me read more as a studio exec saw Paddington 2, went, okay, wait, we can do this. And so they created an American Paddington 2. It has an over-the-top, very well-accomplished actor doing their best work in villainy. They pull back on the over-cutesiness and the annoyingness to give it kind of like... It has the veneer of an edge. It's not an edge, but if you look at it from the right angle, it looks like an edge.
Right away, you have the same problem you have in movies from Masters of the Universe to Green Lantern, where you have a much more interesting world dangled in front of you.
Oh, that's true.
And then your main character is dropped on Earth as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because the film opens on Sonic's home world that people that are familiar with the video game, like, you're going to recognize it immediately.
Yeah.
You want to see more of this world.
Yeah, if that's Mobius, I'm here for Mobius. Which, I don't even know if they name dropped it.
I'm going to say no, because I'm pretty sure the first time that I've heard that name was about 10 seconds ago.
Oh, my God. No, deep Sonic lore. They're on planet Mobius. Mobius is Earth in the far future, but yeah.
Showing her geek cred here.
Yeah.
Nice. Like, there are points where the first time we see the government closing in on him, he's like, I have to use the ring to go to this next mushroom world, which may have been another game reference, may have been a shot at Nintendo, nobody's entirely sure.
Yeah.
But again, he's stalling. Like, I'm sitting in the theater, just throw the ring and go.
But he doesn't want to go. Even though he's apart from society for 10 years and he doesn't have anyone to talk to, he's made this his home and he knows people, and by leaving and going to a boring mushroom world,
Yeah.
he won't see those people anymore, and he doesn't interact with them, but he still feels a connection to them.
And, I mean, again, you're not wrong, but again, just the way that they did the scene, it just feels too long.
It's like, for a character who can move at the speed of whatever the hell, he should have just been like, boop. Yeah, no, you're right,
Yeah.
but that, again, it almost feels like the character is intentionally just being like, you know, it's fake peril, it's fake decisions.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the issue comes in. Like, I had no sense that he was in peril at all.
Fair.
And
They definitely should have had an E.T. captured moment to give us sense of peril.
Yeah.
Because, he can run laps around, like literally run laps around anything. Therefore, nothing will hurt him. Therefore, I wouldn't actually mind a 2-hour speed sequence. I'll take it. And it was...
Especially like the bar sequence.
Oh my
like
God,
referencing Quicksilver and the Flash. Sonic did all that. Let's move this and let's move that and let's bring that over here and let's wedgie the guy's underwear up on the lampshade.
Yeah, but more beautiful. Oddly, the music choices were not what I expected in this film, and they were much more mature and like intentional. You know, it's like that was a gorgeous sequence of Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah.
What?
But I think also it does, run into the same problem that the X-Men franchise did of going to that well too many times.
Probably.
And also this and the baseball sequence does also make the case that this should have been entirely animated. Because you're seeing cartoon physics in the real world.
I'm okay with that. I grew up on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Exactly.
I'm perfectly fine with the interaction of cartoon physics and reality. I think it needed the real world to feel oddly realistic. I know it's a weird thing to say, but there's something about it where it's like, if it was a cartoon world, I would care even less about it, and the stakes would be zero.
Yeah.
Having a real world and like at least James Marsden standing there being like, ooh, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's a problem, but
Yeah.
and like speaking of James Marsden, there are points in this movie where I feel like he's the only one acting wise who's trying.
Yeah, no, like he's putting in.
And I kind of respect him for that.
And that's not to say that Jim Carrey isn't trying. It's more like he didn't need to try. He's
Yeah.
just so.
He's done that character before.
Yeah.
Like numerous times before.
Yeah, and we just haven't seen it in about like 25 years, but that was his go-to.
It was like watching The Mask without all the smarm.
Yes.
Yes.
It was an even bigger dickish mask. You know, no smarm, no likability,
No sexual referencing.
no sexual references, no charisma, just a complete jackass who also happens to have the power to do whatever they want. So they can be a complete jackass.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's never going to be a moment of hubris where it finally catches up to him.
No, his ego wouldn't allow for it.
Yeah, even in the end, it's just like, he doesn't fucking care. He's Lex Luthering on.
Yep.
Just, okay.
Oh yeah, and apparently he literally only did the movie because his daughter was a huge Sonic fan, and I guess most of his scenes were pretty much entirely improv.
Okay, that explains quite a bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
he doesn't have lines with anyone else. He has scenes with other people, but they don't have lines. And that makes a lot of sense, because how the hell are you supposed to respond to that and you can't write any of it? Yeah, no, I absolutely understand. Also, he doesn't impact the plot whatsoever. The Robotnik
Really doesn't.
and the Sonic plots
Yeah.
are practically separate.
Yep.
You know, like, so yeah, no, that makes complete sense. That's frustrating.
Now, of course, as we mentioned, like the main plot is that Mars just has to take Sonic to San Francisco to get his rings back that conveniently dropped through a portal that was accidentally opened
Yeah.
and landed on top of a building and somehow never moved from that spot for the entire journey. But sure!
They're very heavy. They can even withstand, North California winds atop a skyscraper.
See, my whole part of that was, like, Sonic goes to get the rings, and then he comes back and he goes, you need a special key to get to the roof. Okay, why didn't you just run up the building,
Exactly.
go to the roof?
I need a key. You need a fucking what?
Like, why do you need to enter the building? You are Sonic.
Yeah.
All speedsters, like at least the Flash and
And
Sonic,
if you're gonna establish,
If you're
going to establish that Sonic is a fan of the Flash,
Yeah.
yet never have him do something the Flash would do.
Yeah, he never even tried to vibrate through the door. That would have been cool. Even just like seeing him try, and then maybe he vibrates until the door just falls over, and it's just like, close enough! And then walks through. Yeah, if he reads literally every Flash comic ever printed, give us some of that. I want to see some of that. I want to see him run up the side of a wall. I want to see him...
he does it in the video games.
Right?
I just,
And instead, we get a god-awful joke about Sonic being trapped in a bag, and
oh my God.
everyone in that scene completely loses common sense.
Yeah.
Stay in there and be quiet. How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
It's not your child.
Smells like body spray in an old ham sandwich.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It doesn't... You'd think, like, okay, one of them's now going to go to security, and it'll tie back in a few minutes when they get the thing, and they come around a corner, and there's a wall of security.
Yeah.
No!
So never mind the fact that his face is now plastered all over the news
Yes,
because
he's a terrorist.
he's being set up as a terrorist.
Yeah.
You know, wanted for questioning. He's treasonous. He's a terrorist. So he walks into a high security building.
Yeah.
Flashes his badge.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
which is out of state.
He doesn't actually flash it. He holds it up long enough for her to read every word of his ID.
Yep, including the name. Which
Imagine when... Okay, yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
You mean we haven't ruined it for the movie yet?
There's no real plot to this aside from they drive across
Blue
the
thing
country.
goes fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blue thing goes fast. It doesn't even have like a true conclusion. It kind of Man of Steel's at the end where it's just... And then he goes...
sure, it has a conclusion. Oh no, it has a conclusion. We get a video game boss fight. I mean...
Kind of. I mean, not even like what I was fully expecting. You know, like, if you just have Jim Carrey reacting in front of a green screen and your main character is just a blur.
Oh, if you have Jim Carrey reacting in front of a green screen, you get a dance sequence that's, again, there just to stall for time.
Which I enjoyed. I did enjoy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm seeing a lot of cosplays of this character coming up.
Oh, totally.
And it was... You're right. This was a frustratingly enjoyable film because it was stupid and bad. And then you reach at the climax another... Like, I think there's 3 Quicksilver sequences in this. And the final Quicksilver sequence with the rockets at the climax is the best. Because, again, they've chosen some really interesting music to go with it. And it makes no fucking sense because you can, when you're watching it, you can hear the bad song that was supposed to go over this. And it's like, if this was a shittier film, this would be played as like this exciting, over-the-top, cool moment. And instead, it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Why is this just on the edge of like cheesy art film? Why? What happened here? What decisions were made? How many cooks were in this kitchen? And why did it end up with like a souffle that is okay if you don't touch it?
Now, there is one thing left that over the course of this entire discussion, we ironically still haven't touched on, considering it's the one thing this thing is the most famous for.
Oh, shall we?
Which is the visuals.
Yes.
And of course, the thing that has kept Sonic in the news is the simple fact that, dear God, whatever that was when they first put the trailer out, that is the stuff of children's nightmares.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's not... Oh my God, I'm so happy they changed that. That was terrifying.
Again, I'm still saying that they probably did that on purpose just to get the bad publicity, because there is no bad publicity and it was free.
I would agree with you if there wasn't an update this very week, that the production house that had to redo all the digital effects was shuttered because they didn't pay them for the second time around.
Oh no.
They considered it
Yeah.
the same contract. So that company is now out of business the week that this film debuted. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's something that's been happening in the visual effects industry a disturbingly
It
large
happened-
amount of times.
It happened to Life of Pi. That as they were winning an Oscar, I think it was like the same week they won an Oscar, they were fucking closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you're gonna rely on visual effects and CGI and that kind of thing, pay your people.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just no.
Absolutely.
And like with Sonic, as much as I have called out plenty of movies for egregiously bad CG in the past, and there are points where you can clearly tell Sonic is not in that room.
Yeah.
But here, I feel like I kind of have to let that go, because I can go, yes, this looks shoddy, but I get why.
Why would you throw your life away for this silly little alien?
Good time. He's my friend.
But with Sonic, for me, I have to go back to something that I haven't done in a fair while on this show, where I have to give 2 ratings.
Okay.
For me, personally, this is a 1.5. There's just... Even acknowledging the fact that this is not made for me in any way, like, I'm not a video game person, I am not the Sonic generation at all. Not only did I have nothing to connect to, for the first part of the movie, Sonic is literally the most irritating character. There are a lot of one-liners that are being just shotgunned just to do it. There are scenes where Sonic will randomly just start flossing that are there just because some studio executive was like, "Oh, this is popular."
I thought it was funny.
Every time a movie does this, by the time that movie has come out, that thing that they're referencing is no longer popular.
Oh, there are still kids that floss. There are still kids that floss.
Oh, there still are, absolutely,
Yes.
but it's nowhere near the popularity that the movie seems to think it is.
Fair.
And with Jim Carrey, I'm not gonna say that he's bad or anything like that. It's just, this is a performance that I enjoyed 20 years ago, but I've just moved away from that. And it's like, okay, you're not really doing anything new here. And I can forgive that because I know that he didn't have to. Now, all that said, I think if you're a fan of Sonic, or hell, even nostalgic for old Jim Carrey, this is a 3. Because as much as I can't stand it when I hear people in fandoms say, "Oh, I'm just happy to have this character on the screen," for the Sonic fandom specifically, because like this is the first time this character has been anywhere near a movie, and as I understand it, getting this character into a movie was not the easiest thing to do. Yeah, I'll give you all this one.
In terms of rating for me, I agree with the 3. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I expected it to. I enjoyed it more than I believe it has any right to be enjoyable. There's segments in this and sequences that are fantastic, possibly even better than the Quicksilver sequences. I thought they did it better. Now, of course, they didn't come up with it, so you always have.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found Sonic wasn't full on annoying. He wasn't. I was expecting Poochie, between Poochie and Jar Jar, like really fucking annoying, really trying to be cool.
I don't understand either of those references. Well, I know Jar Jar's from Star Trek, or
Yeah.
Star Wars, but don't insult Star Trek.
Stop.
Don't insult Star Trek.
So Poochie is the one-time companion to Itchy and Scratchy that was created in The Simpsons.
Oh, that would be why I don't understand Poochie.
Okay.
I think the easiest way to put it is this. You know how most sitcoms or TV shows will hit that point where they bring in a new character just to increase ratings, and nobody likes that new character?
Yeah. And in the 90s, that new character was always the extreme cool one. And
Yeah, no.
okay, it was a trope. It was a thing. It was essentially trying to recreate the Fonz.
Yeah.
But like for two decades, and it never worked out really. But I expected him to be that kind of annoying, where he's like, they're saying this shit dialogue, but they expect you to think it's cool. I didn't take it that way. I thought the flossing was okay with it because it's not taken, or at least I got the idea, it's not done as like a character trying to be cool. It's a kid repeating a meme that they found cool. Also, I hate Jim Carrey, but I don't hate him here. That's my review.
Well, surprisingly enough, I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah.
I am. And again, I mean, I was watching it the whole time as a parent that, would bring their younger children to this. And I think kids will get a blast out of it. I think there's enough in there to keep the parents entertained. We've got Family Day, Heritage Day in Nova Scotia coming up on Monday. Montreal and Ontario, it's known as Family Day. So it's a good time to bring that movie out. And, what are you going to do with your kids on the civic holiday where everything shuts down? Take them to a movie.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I think that there's enough here to entertain a variety of ages. As long as you're not sitting there and taking it all apart and poking at it and, using science and logic, because, again, this is a movie based on a video game.
Yeah, Mike.
But
I'm sitting here like, wait for it. Wait for it.
Yeah. So as long as you can, what's the phrase? As long as you can suspend your theory of disbelief, then it's an enjoyable movie. It's a nice, fun way to kill less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
And as somebody that, for the longest time, bought every Disney DVD or VHS or whatever out there, this would have been one that I would have brought home for the library. So it wasn't horrible. As an adult, no, I probably won't buy it. But if my kids were 10 and 13, hell yeah, I would have picked it up.
So, with that, of course, that's a wrap for this episode. Next month, we'll be taking a look at probably generic Vin Diesel movie number 16, otherwise known as Bloodshot.
I'm looking forward to that. Sam Hewen's in it.
It sounds terrible.
Well, I'm not sure this sounds terrible so much as you see from the best-selling comic book on the posters.
Oh, God, it's a Valiant Comics.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And I'm kind of going, are y'all sure?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Sam Hewen's in this. I have high hopes for this. Vin Diesel can go hang. I want to see him in Sam Hewen.
You've never read a Valiant comic?
No, I haven't.
Have you?
No.
Oh.
No.
We shall see. Early 90s image was a thing, and I don't think it needed to be brought back as a different thing.
And yet, here it comes, because I'm pretty sure this is not the only Valiant comic getting the big screen treatment.
Oh no, they've already planned out a cinematic universe of Valiant Comics.
Yep.
This is gonna be painful.
Oh dear.
But until then, next weekend I'll be helping out at the chapters in Dartmouth with the Halcon Street Team for their royal afternoon. Basically, you can come out, the kids can get pictures with royal characters, good times are had, and I will not be in costume myself because I could technically do the 10th Doctor, but that's not a reference any kid is going to get.
I don't know. Our community is pretty geek friendly for the kids. Like there's a lot of kids who understand the Doctor.
Yeah, but the only real connection is one scene in Day of the Doctor.
Uh-oh.
It's strenuous, and I would be the first to admit it. So I'm basically just going to be there on camera duty. So I don't know. Feel free to come out and say hi. Mikki.
Working on stuff, but nothing in particular planned. It is being a lazy time. I am actually working as a filmographer now, so I'm busy doing this stuff in my day job.
Yay!
I don't have time to do it in my spare time, although I still do.
And then next weekend, I'm at the 2020 Cole Harbor Place Psychic and Holistic Fair. So I will be there with my chainmail jewelry, and I've got new things. I've got magnetic jewelry and heart pendants.
Oh my god.
So all kinds of stuff going on, new products and old favorites. In fact, I have to organize my suitcase on Monday, which thankfully day off from work, that I can actually take the time to sit there and organize my suitcase for the first show of the year, because it's all disorganized.
So until we see everybody next month, as yeah, again, I think it's safe to say we're not looking forward to this, but
No.
Sam Hewen!
Until then.
Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, share this video with your friends, and drop us a line anytime you like.